A major fallout is looming in Azimio, and it's just a matter of time. And the question which Kenyans are asking is whether the fallout is going to be noisy, messy, and with casualties. Yesterday, key allies of former President Uhuru Kenyatta announced that they were cutting any ties with Raila Odinga. According to the key allies, including the Jubilee Secretary General, Jeremiah Kioni and Wambugu Mujiri, they indicated that they were now putting the laws behind and they will be supporting the government of President William Samoei Arap Ruto. And they also indicated that Mount Kenya actually paid the debt which they owed to Raila Odinga. And of course, they also indicated that the interest of Mount Kenya and the country is more important than individual interest or debt. And importantly, they also indicated that they delivered 1 million plus votes to Raila Odinga, and that Raila Odinga never became the president of the Republic of Kenya because of Nyanza. Because according to them, Nyanza did not turn out in their large numbers. And Edwin Sifuna, who is the Secretary General of ODM Party, has actually responded to them. And Edwin Sifuna has reminded them that they promised to deliver 40% of the votes, which translates to around 2.4 million. And they never delivered. And Edwin Sifuna even alleged that the votes Raila Odinga got, more than what he previously got, was around 400,000. So the fallout is likely to be messy, it's likely to be noisy, and we are likely to witness casualties. And it's just a matter of time. So in this video, I want us to focus primarily on why the allies of President Uhuru, or former President Uhuru Kenyatta, are cutting ties with Raila Odinga. Before we do that, in case you're watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is now. Let us get back to the main issue. And before we do that, I want you guys to press that thumbs up button in case you are subscribed. Now, before we proceed, guys, I want to make this special request. Please, for this particular video, just press that thumbs up button, and for those who can, share it. Now, why do you think the allies of former President Uhuru Kenyatta are cutting ties with Raila Odinga? And just like I keep on opining on this platform, in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence. Everything in politics is normally well planned, well scripted, and executed to achieve a specific political objective. The first person who talked about betrayal was actually Sabina Chege. Sabina Chege was one of the biggest supporters of Raila Odinga. And for those who've been on this channel for a long time, I've always maintained that anytime you wanted to read the thinking of President Uhuru Kenyatta before the election, what he was thinking politically, then you just needed to follow very closely a gentleman, the former Nyeri Town Member of Parliament, Wambugu Mujiri, and he was part of this group. Why do you think they are cutting links with Raila Odinga? For me, they are cutting links with Raila Odinga because of the following. Number one, William Ruto's influence in Mount Kenya. So the truth of the matter is that this gentleman thought that with the help of the deep state, they were going to manage to win their re-election. That did not happen. And they also believed that with the support of the deep state, Raila Odinga was going to become the president. And therefore, with Raila Odinga becoming the president, even if they lost, they were sure that they would get somewhere to work from. But that did not happen. William Ruto stamped his authority in Mount Kenya. Based on the outcome of the last election, William Ruto remains the kingpin of the mountain. And because politics is local, I think they are appreciating now the fact that William Ruto is actually the kingpin of the mountain. For me, if you ask me, these people might even be regretting supporting Raila Odinga, because if some of them had not supported Raila Odinga, they would have made it back to Parliament or to the Senate. So that's why they are now cutting links, because of William Ruto's influence in the mountain and the fact that William Ruto is now the president of the Republic of Kenya. Number two, I'm looking at the East African Legislative Assembly nominations, where Kanini Kega was nominated. Let us begin by looking at it this perspective. Kanini Kega is not an official of Jubilee Party. The Secretary General of Jubilee Party is Jeremiah Kioni. Jeremiah Kioni was defeated. In fact, I even doubt if he got votes. So with that alone, he can be angry, he can be disappointed. So he's disappointed that Raila Odinga, Azimio, never really supported him. So that's, you can look at it from that perspective. Then again, from the East African Legislative Assembly perspective, you can look at it from the perspective of the unity of the mountain. The mountain exhibited a kind of unity of purpose. Those on UDA, those on Jubilee, united and agreed to support Kanini Kega. So the election of Kanini Kega today as a member, as one of the representatives of Kenyans to the East African Legislative Assembly can be attributed to the mountain. And they understand that. And because of that unity of purpose, I think they are now being persuaded to join their counterparts on the other side, because their counterparts on the other side are in government. You can also look at it from Rigathi Gachagua's perspective, that Rigathi Gachagua is attributed to have engineered the election of the two gentlemen from Mountain to EALA. And therefore they want to show sign of goodwill by disowning Raila Odinga. So it's all about the East African Legislative Assembly. Number three, in my view, is government appointment. You know, some of these guys were very powerful, very close to the deep state. Someone like Wambugu Ngunjiri was very close to the deep state. I doubt if he will be willing to stay in the cold. I doubt if Jeremiah Kioni or the other group of individuals will be comfortable working away from government. So these guys are positioning themselves for a possible appointment. The only disadvantage they have is that they come from Mount Kenya. Those who come from Mount Kenya will not really benefit much from William Ruto's gestures, because William Ruto has proved that he rewards loyalty. He will begin by rewarding those who stood with him. This other one opposed him, so might be difficult for him, for them, but for me, if you ask me, these guys are actually looking for job opportunities in government. You won't be surprised that William Ruto might actually use them to engineer fallout in Azimio. Then some of them will be appointed. Then end of story. Number four, in my view, is that these gentlemen are looking at 2027 political comeback. William Ruto stamped his authority in the mountain. All those who opposed him failed. Those who supported him succeeded. Then how do you make a comeback? How can Wambugu Ngunjiri make a comeback to parliament? How can Jeremiah Kioni make a comeback to parliament? How can someone like Sabina Chege make a comeback to parliament? Simple. Go back to their respective constituencies or counties, launch campaigns there, play local politics. And because the ground is pro-UDA, definitely for them to win, they must align themselves with the dominant political party in that region. So for me, if you ask me, these people are just keen on making a political comeback. And that comeback, they cannot make it on the other side. If Raila Odinga had won and they had lost, then probably they would have stuck with him in the hope that if elections are held, then the mountain were going to support Raila Odinga for a second term. But because Raila Odinga lost, William Ruto is now the president, you can't convince me that if William Ruto managed to defeat Uhuru Kenyatta as a president in his own backyard with all his people, then now Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta outside government can defeat Ruto. So it's not going to be possible. So for me, political comeback. And number five, I'm looking at Mount Kenya 2027 political scheme. You know, in the last election, The mountain rebelled against Uhuru Kenyatta, and they handed over the mountain to William Samoei Arap Ruto. As a matter of fact, by that time, there was not a single Mount Kenya kingpin on the other side. People were just speculating, oh, Ruto was going to pick on Rigathi, Moses Kuria, oh, he was going to pick on Ndindi Nyoro, all those people. But the mountain, as I'm looking at it, are trying to unite so that when they approach the next general election, they will approach that election as Mount Kenya with a leader. And the leader of that group is actually going to be Rigathi Gachagua. So that every other individual from the mountain are going to rally around Rigathi. So that when Ruto will attempt to shortchange Rigathi, it will not happen. If Rigathi will be negotiating with Ruto this time around, he will be negotiating with Ruto from an advantaged position, other than the way it was in the last election, where they were doing it at the mercy of William Samoei Arap Ruto. And lastly, I think Rigathi Gachagua could be behind it. After the EALA elections, people started pressing Rigathi Gachagua, and Rigathi Gachagua has maintained that elections are now behind us and is now trying to reach out to these people. So I want to assume that probably Rigathi Gachagua, as the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, is seeing no need of keeping these gentlemen outside there. So he's probably talking to them so that they could join hands, and after joining hands, maybe they can work together as a team. That for me is the main cause of this particular tension. Whether they are going to succeed or not, let us wait and see. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye.